All right, let's see what we got here. I guess we clocked in. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, happy Friday, everyone. Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become Buddha like. I help you to become Christ like, Krishna like. And what that simply means is that I help you to attain your highest level of consciousness. And that's pretty much what that is. Now, the way that I help you to do that as a spiritual healer, technically, I hold the mirror of wisdom for you to reflect, for you to see who you are. Because ultimately, that self consciousness, that to attain that highest level of self consciousness, entails you knowing who you are. So that's why we hold the mirror of wisdom, so that way you could see yourself. Because even when you're talking about your personal growth, any type of growth, for you to become conscious, that's why it takes accountability. This is you going inward. This is you start acknowledging, oh, okay, I did this. This is, you realizing your life, you know, it's it's how you make it. You know what I'm saying? So the minute you start to realize these things, and that's what's going to lead you, to your essence, to who you are. So by us holding the mirror of wisdom, and even to hold the mirror of wisdom, what that simply means is, it's the intelligence or the knowledge that allow you to see yourself beyond you. And that's what the occult pretty much is all about. That's what spirituality is pretty much all about. It's giving you, a deeper understanding of the reality that you're living in. And as a spiritual healer, essentially that's what I do. Now, going back to how I do it, we talked about holding the mirror of wisdom. You fully understand who you are. Now, for you to see the bigger picture, you understanding who you are, well, you need to be in the best, to have the best mental clarity. You the best. I mean, you would have to be emotionally satisfied, because if you're not, your emotions does have an impact on how you see things. In fact, a lot of our emotions are pretty much directing our vision. When you see someone who's been toxic, or I mean, for the most part, it's always some experience that damaged us, and then we become closed off. So, but that part of, I mean, it's that emotions that triggered the way you think. Just it's the same thing. Like, we all know when we say someone is being emotional, so therefore, I mean, it automatically, like, you look at, I mean, you automatically do not have the full picture. So you have to become emotionally balanced. So I help you to become emotionally and mentally balanced. But also, I'm trying to let you know how important it is for you to be emotionally balanced. Because your emotions could trigger, like a lot of people say, fuck love and all that. That's because of them, because of a bad emotional experience that they were not able to survive. Meaning they didn't process, the emotion correctly. In fact, they didn't even process their fucking emotions, to be honest. So I'm saying that to say, in so many words, like, even when we're talking about being emotionally balanced, that's what I'm referring to. That's what I mean. It's not for most people sometimes, not raising your voice. Do you see what I'm saying? Or not to say certain words, or I mean, all of that. It's mainly has to do with you pretending to be anything. Doesn't have. It doesn't mean you are emotionally balanced at all. Being emotionally balanced is truly to be I mean, unbothered, but it comes with a level of understanding this is you being in alignment with your emotions, but you have to understand, what your emotions are for you to build that type of relationship with your emotions. You would have to understand, like the intelligence that is being talked to you. Like how does that make you feel? For the most part, when you go see a shrink, like they're helping you to become emotional, to be in tune with your emotions. You see how much of a savage a lot of us have become? But you guys don't even know it, but it's okay. It doesn't count if you don't know it. Oh shit. That's what you do now when you go see a shrink. But anyway, being emotionally balanced has nothing to do with you not raising your voice or you behaving a certain way. If anything, it's the total opposite. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, shit. First of all, this is you not expressing yourself. And there's something. It's going. The self is going to express itself one way or another. You could be the one to facilitate your emotions, to allow it to, to have a better handle of it. Or, you could be triggered and let your shadow self, or let your shadow or your ego act like crazy. So, dealing with your emotions plays a big part in you having a better understanding or even seeing things better, because it does have an impact on your mental. So now, when I'm talking about being mentally balanced, it's the same baseline understanding here. You got to understand how your mind works. You got to understand how you being conditioned. How is you going to school? What is that? How is that? Conditioning you to think. You have to become conscious of your environment for you to maintain that true mental clarity. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's why you have to. When you become in touch with your spirituality too, you bypass all those nationality barriers or racial barriers, like, because a lot of that shit, your culture, every culture is biased. To think only from your cultural background, it's to limit. It's giving you already, like, it's giving you a false start already. Meaning, and it's good to have a reference, understand how you move. You know what I'm saying? But shit, like, even if you're looking at food, like, like that alone, you can you imagine if you only know one way of cooking one thing, and then there's billions of other ways of cooking it. Are you saying no to those other ways of opening your mind up? What are we doing? Like I always tell people, you gotta learn how to be an American without being a fucking American. Meaning you were born here just like anybody else who was born wherever the fuck they were born was born there too. So what else are we talking about here? See, that's how you gotta start looking at it. Because now already it helps you to bypass, or even better yet, that's how you even have a better understanding of your own culture. Because a lot of us, believe it or not, until you start seeing it that way, you don't really understand your own culture. Meaning you don't even understand yourself neither. You just act, on autopilot. And generally, when you act that way, because that's what it is, you don't have a better grasp nor understanding of your own fucking culture. Shit's crazy. And I always talk about this shit too. Like, even when we talk about love. When you go get a divorce, nobody's talking about love. You know what I'm saying? So how? Because a lot of us, man, due to our cultural back, there you go. We associate marriage and love. You know what I'm saying? Whereas marriage is something else. Now you're dealing with the government. Now there's a 50-50 involved now. I don't know how godly is that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too sure. But if that's godly to you, I don't know. But generally speaking, when you truly what you're trying to say, when you even when you talk about marriages, is that romance? Is that connection? Is under God? Is that acceptance? Do you see what I'm saying? But you got the two confused, my man. Now, what you do in that court got nothing to do with this. They are not the same thing. But yet our culture you know what I'm saying? That's why niggas get prenup. It's contractual agreements, niggas. Do you see what I'm saying? When you understand it that way, then now you have a better understanding of what arranged marriages are. That's when now your parents are choosing and making the rules. This is who they want you to be with. This is what's gonna benefit you in the future. I mean, shit. I mean, that's what you should do over here too, nigga. That's why marriage is a business move. It's a chess move in so many ways. That's why you'll see a lot of kingdoms in the past when this prince and that princess got married, like that was a power move in terms of now legally this is your brother-in-law. You have certain authorities that you didn't have before. You see, like, but if you don't go beyond what's given to you, how would you even think about it this way? And I know a lot of us too, or a lot of fucking well, depending on your nationality too. Like a lot of Americans, I'll give you a perfect example. The idea of arranged marriage is so like ungodly. It's just that idea alone. It's like it's hell. It's evil. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because there's no love in it. Where do you find love in marriage, nigga?